Chin down, right there. We got to chin up too much.
And then Canelo's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to that fight.
What do you think?
Listen, I've been talking a lot of shit about this guy plan. So if he do anything like beat Canelo, I'm gonna be so angry. I'm gonna put him on my show and say, hey, I'm sorry, you're the greatest fighter ever lived.
But Canelo's a massive favorite.
Well, we're gonna see. I pick him to slaughter this guy, but this guy's saying something different.
Leading up to this fight, Canelo said that Mexicans don't fuck around. Well, that's good to know because where I'm from, we don't fuck around neither. This is history, and you're looking at him. His name is Caleb Plant. Thank you.
And he said, we have come a long way to make this happen, and we are just days away from making history.
What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So as you man have seen by the title, your man's Caleb Plant Pot has stayed talking the most right now. Yeah, and all I want to say, you know what, in fact, let me read you man the quotes. Yeah, Plant Pot said the following: there's not much time left, and really I haven't got much left to say, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Leading up to this fight, Alvarez said that Mexicans don't F around. Well, that's good to know, because where I'm from, we don't F around neither. So Saturday night, make sure you tune in. You'll be seeing the first undisputed middleweight champion of all time. This is history, and you're looking at him, and his name is Caleb Plant Pot. Ah, man, I mean, I can't lie to you. 6 months ago, I may have sat here and entertained this, but after Billy Ho Saunders, I've lost faith in. In fact, it's not just Billy. Yeah? Don't forget. McTapper, Billy Ho. There's been a long lineage of big mouths. And I'm not saying Caleb Plant Pot is a big mouth, but listen. The bottom line is, don't get me wrong. Yeah? Mike Tyson did a segment on Caleb Plant Pot, and he said, listen, if Caleb Plant Pot wins, Mike Tyson is going to congratulate him and say he's the best fighter ever. And I have to agree, to be honest. If Caleb Plant Pot wins, he will have to be a Mayweather 2.0. In fact, arguably better than Mayweather. Why? Because Mayweather beat a much worse. I'd say Alvarez was about 60% of his final form. And in 2021, in my opinion, Alvarez is in his final form. I'd say it's 95% of his final form right now. He's maybe got another year of fine-tuning. I think after he beats Plant Pot, after he beats Benavidez, he will be his final form. And that's when he'll take on the 175ers and wash them out. Yeah? So, trust me, like I've been saying for the last few days, if Plant Pot is to beat Alvarez, he will have to be something super duper special. But, equally, like I've been saying, I'm hoping to see it. End of the day, yeah, whilst I'm backing Alvarez, I'd love to see someone box his head off. Why? Because that would make an amazing fight. And it'd actually make it interesting. Too many fights with Alvarez, because he's too good, they end up being one-sided. I'd love, for example, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'd love for him to lose, but I'm saying I'd love for him to be beaten and have to come back. Imagine that. Imagine an Alvarez who just lost in a rematch clause with Plant Pot. That would be proper crazy stuff. Are we going to get that? I don't think so. But I'd love to watch it. I'd love to watch a nail-biting fight. Yeah, a classic. Because Alvarez so far at 168, it's been pretty easy sailing. Apart from Golovkin at 160, there's not been a lot of quality around, and it's a shame. It is a real shame. There hasn't been anyone of that caliber since, has there? Let's be real now. So is Plant Pot the one? Do I believe it? No. But he's talking well. I've got a feeling though, think about it. I can't lie to you. Look at Callum Smith. I'm sorry, but Callum Smith versus Plant Pot, that would have been interesting. But I can't lie to you. Yeah, before Alvarez fought Callum Smith, I thought, listen, Callum Smith is gonna be a hard night's work because Callum Smith was chewing people up. I know he went life and death with John Ryder, but he looked alright. He looked pretty deadly. He went in there and he couldn't get no shots off. His shots was bouncing off. So I don't know. Caleb Plant, he seems convinced that he's too big, and the weigh-in looked good. But what do we know? We've seen a lot of weigh-ins. We've seen Kovalev at 175. We've seen Callum Smith at 168. We've seen every weigh-in. He looks small. He go in there and he digging. So it's one of them ones. But Plant Pot, good luck to you. Most likely, you're going to get your pot rode. Yeah, Alvarez is going to hang at the back of your pot, 100%. Yeah, you better make sure your pot's clean, because Alvarez is going to be poking it all the way up, no doubt. Yeah, and like I said before, just make sure, Plant Pot, when you get hit, when you get digged, yeah, when Alvarez has finished cutting the ring off, and he puts that big stiff left hook in for the first time, and it settles into your ribs, just make sure you remember about the hood thing. Oh man, he said, Alvarez said that Mexicans are tough and I'm from the hood. And remember that stuff, because you be talking the most right now about the hood. Just make sure where you're from comes into it in them rounds. Cause I'm sick of fighters talking about where they're from and then they get in the fight. And Billy Ho Saunders, yeah, he talk about where he's from. Where was that at? Nowhere. Yeah, he dragged out the corner. He's scary. Because listen, I can't lie. Right now, the heavyweight dons have been holding it down, yeah? Well, not all the heavyweight dons, because your man AJ floppy, but, I mean, Fury and Wilder, yeah? Don't get me wrong, Wilder has no skills, yeah? That said, he turned up and put his nuts on the line, and the thing is as well, what gets me is the fact these guys are bigger. It's harder for them to put it on the line. They've got more muscles. They've got less cardio. And that's what frustrates me about the sport. You don't get, remember Hagler Hearns, yeah? All them ones there. That man was like 160. When was the last time we saw Hagler Hearns or any one of them ones? These times. Oops. I guess you could say Golovkin, Triple G, but even then, did you see the man fully commit like that? Proper just thinking it's me or you tonight. I didn't really see that. I didn't see that rawness, that honest thing, that KO thing. And in a way, I wouldn't mind seeing Alvarez working with Sugar Hill. Imagine that, pure KOs. Because to be honest, that's been one of my criticisms of Alvarez. I love Alvarez, my favourite fighter, but to be critical, to be a perfectionist, he needs to start going for the KO. He's good enough to do it, I believe. He's good enough to start earlier. I think he trots through the first 6 rounds, trots through them. He needs to be on this thing. Although, to be fair to Alvarez, his cardio is a bit of a myth. He can, even though he's not throwing much, because he's loading up so much, he ends up gassing almost like a heavyweight. So that's something that needs to be addressed. But either way, the point is, people, I'm hoping we don't get Alvarez versus Smith, where Smith shells up. I hope we don't get Alvarez versus Billy Joe. I want both men to go in there. Alvarez, I want you to go for the KO. And Plant Pot, I want you to talk about all this trailer trash hood dude you are. Yeah? Show me the trailer trash in you. Plant Pot, let me tell you right now. Show us, us man, want to see the trailer trash in you. How much trailer trash have you got inside you? We need to know. Yeah? Because right now, Caleb Plant is representing for Team Trailer Trash. Yeah, TTT. Team Trailer Trash. Call me a liar. What, is he not? Yeah, he rapping. No doubt.